Hello and welcome to a cheeky episode of The Wandering Barman, where this time I want to do a deep dive on some of my favourite cocktails. I feel that sometimes when I do a cocktail, I kind of just throw in some booze and show you the measurements and then let you go off to make it yourself. Well, I kind of want to go a bit more into the specifics, so this is going to be perfect for cocktail enthusiasts. This is where things are going to get a bit geeky. You're pre-warned. Sometimes I'll personalise a cocktail, it's called giving it a twist, and it's good to kind of know what you're taking away and what you're putting back in and why. It's really important to find out what the replacement actually is. So today I'm going to do my twist on a cocktail called the El Presidente. I don't know when this is going to go out, but I chose it because there's a lot of stuff happening in the world with regards to Presidentes. So I thought it might be topical. The El Presidente is a drink that was invented around in Havana, kind of around 1920s, there or thereabouts. It's always disputable with cocktails. The more you research a cocktail's history, the more elusive they become. It was made definitely for a president or a general that was around anywhere between 1910 and 1925. So what we need for this drink is rum. Now, I'm going to use a white rum. Sometimes if you use an aged rum, it can have quite a sweet note to it. And that can maybe sometimes mess up what you're trying to do with your cocktail, particularly when you're using other sweet ingredients. So you don't want to over-sweeten your drink, and sometimes an aged rum can do that. I prefer to stick to crisp and clean. That's basically the best way to describe it. And because this drink is basically from Havana, why not use Havana Club? So what I want to do is I want to put in 60 mils of Havana. $60 mils, nice, strong. It's a good start to a cocktail when you're putting that amount in for the base spirit. This drink also needs vermouth. Now, it calls for dry vermouth. Vermouth is a good bridging drink, spirit, alcohol to have when you're trying to figure out a cocktail and how to balance it well. Vermouth is a good one to use because it's a fortified wine and it comes in 3 or 4 different stages. There's dry, extra dry, and there's sweet. And they've recently kind of started to bring out these versions of rosé vermouth, which are, for me, the perfect balance between dry and sweet. And it also has this lovely colour to it that can really bring together a cocktail, especially if you're trying to make it transparent, which is kind of what we're trying to do here. And I'm going to come to that point in a little bit. So we need 20 mils of this rosé vermouth, and you'll see right away the colour change in the cocktail. That's why I like using this a lot of the time. Now, our third element to this cocktail is, for me, going to be benedictina. Now, the original recipe calls for orange curacao or triple sec. Yeah, those are good, but for me, they're a little too sweet. So what we're going to use is this very elusive drink called benedictina, and it's a French liqueur made from about 27 different herbs and spices, and they are plentiful. There's red berries, cinnamon, tea, coriander, orange peel, which is why I'm using this drink, because the best way I can describe this liqueur is a kind of like a cognac liqueur. But for me, it's got hints of orange in there, and that's basically why I want to use this. It's quite a complex drink, and I feel that it does bring a bit of complexity to this drink, but we only need 10 mils, okay? So that's our orange element. Then I'm going to move on to using some ginger liqueur. Now, the original recipe calls for grenadine. So this is essentially the sweet element of our drink. Grenadine is going to drastically change the colour of this and also contains no alcohol. This ginger liqueur, I think, is keeping with my aim to keep it transparent. The ginger is going to complement the spices that are already in the benedictina, and the fact that it's got alcohol in it, even if it is only maybe 30% or something, is going to just give it a little kick, right? But this is the sweetener of the drink, so we don't want to over sweeten it. So we just go in with 15 mils. Now look at the colour. The colour is looking really quite delicious. Now we need to add our ice, right? I've got my ice shaker full of good, cold, clouded ice. And we go in there and we slam it down and we give it a good old shake. And I want to give it a little taste. Lovely. So, put that away, put that there. Want to get my nice glass. Now, for me, that's looking beautiful. The grenadine for me is too strong. But remember that I'm going away from the original recipe, yeah? I've added basically 2 new elements that are similar to what was used before, but aren't the same. The vermouth is basically the same, it's just got a much more delicate taste to it. One thing we need to just finish this off is I want to come in with a nice orange zest. And we're not going to leave the zest in the drink because that can sometimes make it a little bit bitter. I just want to spread those oils over the drink. So that is the El Presidente. Make it at home and let me know how you get on. If you want to see more stuff that I do, podcasts and recipes and photos and sketches and comedy, feel free to go over to Buy Me a Coffee and you can check out all my stuff and you can buy me a coffee if you want. Links will be in your peripherals. Enjoy. Cheers.
Excuse me, myself a drink.